Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 26 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. How's everybody doing today? I am ready to start playing with a little bit more automation with refined storage. So last episode, we automated this process. We're automating crystallized seeds, and refined storage is taking care of everything for us. Automating it was pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. We automated the crystallized seeds, we automated the refined seeds, and refined storage knows how to make everything. So on demand, it can craft refined and crystallized seeds, which it's totally doing, right? So there's the empowered canola seeds, and there's the crystallized ones. Sweet. And we've got this guy set up to export empowered canola seeds with a crafting upgrade. So basically, it's going to keep auto-crafting these empowered canola seeds until it fills up this precision dropper, at which point it'll stop. Everything that I worked on last episode worked really well, with the exception of one little nuance. One thing that I had to kind of fix, if you will. I think I was powering this thing with this wireless RF transmitter. That turned out to not be enough power. So I made a quick phantom face over here. You can see the phantom energy face. That hooks up to the other parts of this stuff. So everything's kind of working pretty well. We played around with phantom faces because it really made the wiring a lot nicer so that I can hide everything under the ground. Phantom faces are awesome. If you are like me and not good at hiding stuff and making ugly dire wire, phantom faces are great at making dire wire go away. So the next thing I'm going to work on today is probably over here. So this is going to currently be my ore processing area, right? So there's a couple things we want to look at today. The main one being, how am I going to probably manage to do what we want to do? I should probably get the phantom energy face over here and finish off this building. And we can see kind of some automation stuff going on over here. I think what I'd like to do real quick, you can see I replaced and got rid of my item laser wires, right? Let's get, because I know I happen to be low on iron at the moment. It's one of the, I've got 9 ingots of iron. So I did go mining between episodes. Let's get ourselves a stack of iron by kicking off the processing. So this whole system can just basically be replaced by exporting, with an exporter, all the ores from our system. And we'll have that auto-export into this oak chest. So what we'll want to do is run some cables over to here. And I'd like to finish off this building so that it's finalized, if you will. And make it like a cool and neat looking ore processing facility. And it's basically going to stay the way it is now with maybe a couple tweaks and additions. What I wouldn't mind doing is teaching the system how to make some energy faces. And I'd like to have, oh, there's my clay pattern. I made a couple patterns for some stuff we're going to need to do. Missing 3, so let's try that again a few seconds later now that we've got... Still missing 3. Come on, iron, process. I don't have any capacitors over there speeding this thing up. So, wow, you are really taking your sweet... Oh, you know why? I'm such a derp. Like, why isn't there any stuff coming? It's being processed. It's just not being sucked back into the refined storage system. So the refined storage system couldn't see any of the iron I just processed. That's a little bit of a dire derp. So let's get our patterns. 5 of them should be good. And I want to teach this thing how to make... I've been enjoying playing with phantom faces so much that I want to teach it how to make them. So you should now know how to make... I already taught it how to make empowered diamantine crystals. I did that off camera. Let's teach it block of energy ender pearls. I taught it clay because that's needed for these guys. I taught it this recipe already. So I did that off camera, right? We're going to want to teach it the oak chest, which I'd really like you to use... oak wood planks. Anybody paying? Oh, I already taught it how to make oak chests. Sweet, so we're good. Anybody watching this video? Yes, I'm recording it around Christmas time. That's why we have the chests. I know. My backlog. It's not that big actually. I think it's. You'll probably guys see this in 5 or 6 days. But I mean, I was recording extra around the holidays because I knew I wasn't going to recording then. So yes, the backlog is not extreme, but you know, it exists. It's a thing that I do. So I know how to do that. Did I teach it coils at all? I don't think so, right? I taught it these basic coils. Now, did I teach you golden nuggets? I did not. So what I should probably do is teach it how to make golden nuggets and coils. So let's do phantom faces. We're going to want to teach it you. And as a result, you need to know how to turn gold into gold nuggets, right? Now, I could do that with a compacting drawer, but whatever. So those are the components that we're going to need. And then finally, all these things will be tied together. And I should be able to request phantom faces now. Now, phantom energy faces shouldn't be too big of a deal. but the only problem is getting empowered redstonia crystals. So I haven't taught it how to do empowered redstonia crystals yet, and I have to decide how I want to do that. So for now, let's pop down here to my crafters and add these recipes. I think you've got room for one more. So now that should be cool. So he should have no problem if I asked him to craft a phantom face. He should have all the components. However, if I asked him to craft an energy face, he doesn't have the empowered redstonia crystals. So the only thing with that is, how do we want to do that? So empowered redstonia crystals, we could. So the question really would be, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do it in block form or not? Because we're using a brick, a nether brick, redstone, and rose red. Not the most expensive resources in the world to go around the redstonia crystal. And this guy over here already knows how to make redstonia crystals because I taught it. I'm pretty sure the recipe for redstonia crystals, right? We'd have to sneak over to this guy and see. Yes, redstonia crystals are in there. So let's do that. Let's go straight up with a redstonia crystal. So we're going to want bricks and nether bricks, which I'm going to have to teach the system how to make these two things. Rose red, okay, and redstone. And a redstonia crystal will yield one of these, is what I'll basically tell it, okay? So there's the processing pattern that I set up. So redstonia crystal, redstone, rose red, brick, nether brick yields this. Okay, and then I could get myself another pattern. Teach it, happily. And then right over here, we're going to want to tap that guy right into here. And don't forget to upgrade your importer to say you're allowed to import empowered redstonia crystals into the refined storage system. Cool? So now, if I were to request a phantom face, assuming we had all the resources, which I know we do for at least the two that I need, I should be able to say, make me a phantom energy face, start, and it should kick off all the stuff that I want it to do. In theory. Aha. Look at you being sneaky. I'm going to have to figure out a solution to this. This is going to be a bit of a nuisance for me, because these guys are going to conflict with each other. And I had a feeling that was going to happen, and I didn't do anything about it. So you should be allowed to... Do I not have redstonia crystals on this? I have the blocks, that's why. Let's replace this with the blocks. And let's replace the export with the empowered crystal version. I'm probably going to want to do the same with lapis, but we'll see. We'll get around to that. Okay, so that goes in there, and he should be imported. That's going to work. And I can put these guys all together. Cool. So I'm going to have to kind of keep an eye on this. I'm 50-50 on whether or not this is going to be a problem. I haven't figured out yet how I feel about whether or not this will be a problem. If it's fast enough and it does it the right order, it shouldn't be a problem, but it may be a problem. Okay. And while I'm here, I'm probably going to want a regular phantom face. So if you would do the honors of crafting that for me, that would be super. See? And all the automations. Awesome. That is cool. Because I think refined storage won't put all the ingredients into the chest until it has all the ingredients. So in theory, it shouldn't put anything in the chest until it has everything that it needs to craft. And with that in mind, I think we'll be okay, but we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on it. If this thing starts getting stuck frequently, I'm going to have to manage it and figure out how to solve that problem. Okay? Sweet. Okay. So let's take a nap and then come back and set up this new area. Alright guys, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into with this whole setup. So first off, let's get energy flowing down here, right? So this guy might be a little bit low on power, and we're going to remedy that with this laser. And I probably didn't bring my laser wrench, but I did now. So there we go. Laser wrench stored, laser wrench stored. Nice. Now I don't think that thing can reach all the way over to here, but that's cool. And this thing should be getting power now. After I do this and this, now this thing should be getting power. Yay, it's working. At 1,000 RF attack. Beautiful. That's about what we should expect it to do. Nice. Cool. So that's totally working. And that's good for me, because it means I did something right. Let's hook up. So I think I want this oak chest to kind of be the hookup for everything. But we're going to need to access it from multiple sides. So that's why I grabbed the other phantom face. I'm going to store this in the ground under here. Probably like right here, like maybe right here-ish. Okay, and then we can have our exporter, and I requested it make this the importer. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to import and export. I know it's not connected to anything. Calm down. Exporter will export these types of ores. Okay. Redstone signal is ignored, so we don't care about redstone signal. The types are items. Compare damage, yes. Compare MBT, yes. Compare ore dictionary. Yes. So it looks at the ore dictionary for this. Nice. Now I could have sworn I could make this like blacklist versus white. Oh, for exporter, yes. For import mode, this is going to be a little bit different. So the importer, we're going to do ignore redstone signal, yes. Type items. Instead of whitelist, we're going to blacklist. So exporter blacklist wouldn't make sense. So derp. But yeah, we want to blacklist these items. So they won't be imported into the refined storage system, right? Compare damage, compare MBT, compare ore dictionary, sure. Compare the ore dictionary all you want. Long story short, we will export here. We can import everything except these items, okay? And then we can connect this dude, and then he should be cool, okay? And then we just get this over to here. Wow, that is right there, isn't it? Cool. I was not aware that you were so right there. So now we do have cabling that's running through here. So what I'm thinking we'll do is kind of run this in this direction. And hopefully I can keep this nice and neat underground. So not as neat as I would have liked. I could have done a better job of being neat. So that's hilarious. Did I? Yeah, let's do dirt. Let's get these guys replaced. Nice. And let's try that again to be a little bit neater, shall we? Because I don't want it, like, running through this area, which I totally could. It is kind of right there. Wish I had a better way to get up and down in this new area, but for now, I could run it behind. So I do have these right here, right? You know what? How about I do this? We'll do it right here. Okay. That should be fine, right? Yeah. I like that. So we'll run it, like, back here. Dire wiring it up. You guys love the dire wire right now. There's my phantom face, right? So basically, I'm going to break the exporter and place it here. And then the importer can go here. And now we've got a nice connection, right? And then we can just hook up the cable right here. Okay, so exporter will be these things. Set to compare ore dictionary. And importer will be a blacklist of these things. Set to compare ore dictionary. Okay, and then we can just run... Why do I hear an Enderman? Enderman, please. I've been nothing but super generous to you throughout this entire series. I don't want any Enderman shenanigans going on. You hear me, guys? It's dark out. Torches, please. Doot, 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 doot. And this thing should be... Oh, nice. It's totally exporting a lot of stuff. Beautiful. So I'm going to put away... So look at that. It's filling up the inventory with all the stuff that we want to export. That is awesome. All right, let's go take a nap, because Enderman. And then there's one more thing I need to do. So... let's come over here and configure this guy. So what I want to do is set up an extract whitelist. So we're going to use the advanced item filter from Ender.io. Hooray. And we're going to configure this with a whitelist of the following items. You can extract these things. So there should be about 9 of these in here. And then we can say always active. And that should start cruising, right? So what we should see is basically the same process we had before set up, but now just working better. All the ores that are to be processed, with the exception of resonating uranium, ardite, and cobalt, because they don't work in these machines, go into these inventories, right? And then they start getting processed by all the machines. They get started cooking up over here, okay? And then if we look at ingots, so for example, iron, we currently have 43. That should hopefully bump up soon. 44, 45, 46, 47, etc. Cool. So, TLDR, this is pretty cool. Now, I didn't fancy up the building quite as much as I would have liked, but, you know, it's getting there. Cool. So this doesn't look half bad, right? I wouldn't mind putting a facade here or something just to make the chest look a little bit nicer, but overall, it's good, right? And these things will cook off and start cruising. Now, how's this thing doing? We're doing all right. We're producing decent amounts of power. Like, it's not an amazing amount of power. And, you know, everything's working pretty well here. Basically, once this thing drops to 7,000, right, which will probably happen in a moment, it'll go ahead and suck up that liquid block. It'll go ahead and use up the empowered canola. And then it'll auto-craft a new one. Sweet. That is awesome. And a lot of fun to see and watch. See, there was all the particle effects from the auto-crafting of the canola. That is super cool. So, ore processing check, item transfers check, automatic crafting check. Let's do one more set of automation with our machines down here. I wouldn't mind, now that we're getting resources, I wouldn't mind setting up this wall. Okay, so hey, look, coal, yay, or iron. I have my mining backpack down here. Oh, I found a diamond somewhere recently. Oh, I also made the drill mining augment, which is pretty cool. It lets your drill work in a 3x3, and it's pretty awesome to use in tandem with the other upgrades that we've already gotten there. You can also get that up to 5x5, by the way, which is pretty crazy. But we'll probably take a look at that later. So I definitely want to make that building look nicer out there, but for now I'd like to continue with my automation. And there's probably a few things that we're going to need. So like if I asked for 10 patterns, I'm missing glass. Do I have sand? Not as much as I would have loved to have seen me have. We can mana infuse cobble directly into sand, which, Crusher can go straight to sand without having to stop along the way to get gravel, which is kind of cool, because sag mill goes from sand to gravel with a small chance of getting sand, or from cobble to gravel with a small chance of getting sand, and then gravel to sand. So that's like a two-step process. The only thing is that the crusher's a little bit slow, but we can always use the double crusher. That might be fun. Yeah, this crusher here. All right, so let's do this. We've got a lot of cobble, right? Yeah, we should be in really good shape with cobble. What kind of upgrades do I have on this thing? Just the iron one. So, I mean, we can hold a lot of cobble. At some point, we'll probably be getting more of that stuff. I should probably, like, not void cobble for a little bit. But for now, let's set up some machines down in the basement. What I wouldn't mind, let's teach this thing how to make machine chassis decoration block. Oh, cool. They added decoration blocks for these. Cool. Basic capacitors, check. Which I need to do by patterns, by the way. So, am I enough on patterns that I could get like 5 of these, or 3 or 4? That should be cool. So a couple things I wouldn't mind having, right? Machine chassis, I wouldn't mind this. We already know how to make gold nuggets from a minute ago, so that's cool. This, we probably don't know how to make iron bars. Correct. So we're going to have to teach it. And then from there, we should be able to make our machine chassis that we need. So we can drop these guys in here. And then I can get my chassis. We're going to want 2 of them because I want to make alloy smelteries. Right? So that's what I want to basically automate right now. So we're going to need 5 more of these. We're going to need 2 more of these. And then 2 of these. Cool. We're also going to want 2 importers. Check. And we're also going to want 2 crafters. Check. Okay, and we can see all that auto crafting occurring over here. Sweet, right? Digging it. So now that we've got that set up, we have some energy conduits. So let's get these down here in the basement. And we'll just kind of like start this wall a little bit. So we're going to want importers, crafters, and power. We're going to need 3 sides to this block, to each of these blocks. So what I'll probably wind up having is the power on top. So these will come across here. Okay, we'll importer from the bottom. Okay, so we'll do this. And then the crafters, which are still being made, can go on the sides. Okay, so these will be importers from the bottom. Okay, zoinks, get out of here. You're going to be furnace mode, and you're going to be alloys mode. So this will make things like pretty much any alloy, right? So this stuff, like vibrant alloy and energetic alloy and that kind of cool stuff. You will be acting like a furnace, aka making things like glass and stone and any of that automation that we want to do. We will eventually probably ramp these up. Oh, by the way, like nifty little Christmas decorations on the Ender IO stuff, huh? Cool, right? All right, crafters, how are you doing? Nice, we got the 2. They're done being made. So we can pop these guys right here. You could either use like some kind of wrench or something to rotate them or just place them correctly in the first place. And 1 bit of cabling should be enough to hook everything up back here. So eventually this will all be lined up and we might have to bump this energy conduit back a line or 2, which we can deal with at some point in the future. For now, it's going to be fine. Remember, this is like the workhorse basement, so it doesn't have to look super nice. Like, I want it to look decent, and maybe I'll clean up the walls at some point. But for now, like, it's cool, right? So those guys are ready to receive their automations. Let's get the crusher, because I want to go straight from cobble to glass if I can. So let's get the double crusher from Actually Additions. So we need 2 crushers, okay? Which means we need 2 iron casings. 1, 2... 3, 4, right? Basic coils we know how to make. Let's just have like 10 of those standing by. It's probably, yeah, look at that. Nice. Dude, I love when automation just works the way you expect it to. It is literally the greatest. Cool. So crusher. We're gonna need some Restonia crystals. And you can see that processing going again. So cool. Nice. And now we can say crusher. 1, 2. Okay, now we can turn that into a double crusher. And for that, we're going to need coils, which we can auto-craft. Nice. Double crusher, which apparently is a thing I just got. Nice. We're going to want another crafter. Check. And another importer. Hopefully this thing isn't too sided. But what we should basically be able to do now, and we'll probably want this to do things like rose to rose red at some point. There's a couple things. We're going to turn auto split items on. And then we can do stuff like grab a stack of cobble, which I'll just grab from right over here. Thank you. And drop it in here. And then it'll auto split and start processing. It's not going to be the fastest machine. There's no way to upgrade it as far as I know, in terms of speed. But it'll get the job done. And that's pretty much all anybody can ask for. Okay, so importer, are you done yet? Yes. And crafter? Double yes. Cool. So you should be able to import the sand, which it's totally doing. Nice. And that's going to suck it into the system so it's ready to go. So, probably not going to want this covered up at the moment, because what we're going to do, I'm trying to use the elevator I made instead of teleporting through walls. is set up patterns for cobblestone turns into sand, and sand turns into glass. Cool. We have a pattern here. I'm gonna need another one. So totally missing glass. Okay. Sand, give me that stuff. Now I do have some of these guys. Oh right, this is in, let's put this in furnace mode. Okay, pattern. Cool. So these guys can both in here. So we'll say cobblestone makes sand. Whoops. I don't even know what I was thinking there. Check. And then sand makes glass. Check. Okay. This is the one that's in alloys mode. So this being furnace mode is the one that I want to put the sand to glass recipe in. Okay. This is the one that we'll want to put cobblestone to sand. Cool. At some point, maybe I'll make like what's casually been nicknamed as the Cobbleworks, which is basically like a fully automated like cobblestone, smooth stone, gravel, sand, glass factory. But I don't really have the power gen for that right now, and I don't have the infrastructure in place that would totally make things work the way I'd want them to. But long story short, this thing should be running pretty well. So now if I came upstairs, right, and I said, hey, make me 10 patterns, it has, you know, it has to craft 8 more sand, and it has to craft some glass, so we hit start, and we pop downstairs, and we should see this thing cruising right along. Beautiful. And this thing got a little bit more cobblestone than it had before, and it's, you know, totally gonna make everything it needs to make, right? And as cobblestone is turned into sand, it'll put that sand into the smelter, and it'll start cooking up. Now, if we threw some capacitors in here, it would speed up the smelting all the more. Nice. Okay, cool. So that's, we'll probably need a sag mill over there, to be totally fair, at some point, because there's some things that crushers and sag mills, I guess, can do and can't do from each other. But we'll get a sag mill when we need to get a sag mill. Let's put it basically that way. So that's neat. Awesome. Okay. I can just throw this stuff in here and it'll take care of itself. So that crafting process is going on pretty well. Machine is in use for glass. It's cool. Totally digging it. Nice. Now we should have some capacitors handy. We have this thing. I don't know what speed it is. That bumped me up to 60 RF a tick usage. So that thing's not great, but it's not bad. It's the middle tier capacitor. It's this one. You can tell by how much RF per tick it uses, right? Like if we pop up here, we'll see this thing is 60 as well. Okay, that one's, so this is good. This is 100, right? So that's this capacitor. This one's doing 60, which is this capacitor, okay? So I wouldn't mind teaching this thing how to do alloys. So let's get gold, redstone, and glowstone. Do we have any alloys handy? We do have some energetics. Sweet. And let's get an ender pearl. So what we're going to do is, we should have patterns pretty much in progress. There's the 10 I requested, which is cool. We will say gold, glowstone, and redstone yields an energetic alloy. And then an energetic alloy and an ender pearl yields... Let's do it up here, because at least it'll be a little bit faster. This good stuff. Vibrant. Nice. Okay. And this will go downstairs in our alloys furnace. Okay. So now that we know how to make those, we're in good shape. Now, if I wanted to teach this thing capacitors, which I do, I want to teach it how to make capacitors, because that's like a long multi-step process, right? So you already know how to make basics. You don't know how to make doubles yet, right? So let's teach you doubles, okay? So you need to know how to make coal dust, right? So if we got coal, I want to throw it in the crusher, because I want to give it the coal that comes out of the crusher, because I'm going to put this in the crusher recipe. So that gives you IC2 coal dust. So that's actually kind of cool, because that's what it thinks it needs. We're also going to need another crafter at some point. So So let's get that ready. And then the next capacitor we're going to need is the Mark III. So all you need to do is know how to glowstone into glowstone, right? Because you know how to make... Yeah, so you have glowstone, but now you know how to make stuff. Cool. So with that in mind, we can put these things away. These are all just straight up crafting recipes, but you know what I should do is teach it how to turn coal into stuff. So we'll do this, yields this, and we'll get a pattern for it. And did you finish my crafter yet? You did. Good. Cool. So, because I knew this was getting full. Okay. And now all you need is the coal recipe, right? So now if I came down here and said that I wanted an octadic capacitor, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. And you can see this thing turning to coal. This one's making probably vibrant alloys or energetic alloys or something, right? And if we went upstairs to the crafting monitor, we'd be able to keep an eye on that. So you're currently crafting a vibrant alloy. Nice. And when this thing's done cooking, we should have our capacitor. See, it's still cooking. There we go. Just finished. Octadic capacitor. Throwing this in here is going to rapidly speed it up. So now if I ask for another capacitor, this should be a lot quicker of a process, right? Has a lot of things that it needs to craft, but this thing's going to run at triple the speed. So see how much faster it's going? That's awesome. So that means that when we request things, it just won't take so long for them to be made, right? And that's pretty neat. And there goes the energetic and the ender pearl that we need. Nice. And there comes another set. So now our octadic is ready. We had half the ingredients with the octadic, and this thing already made another one when it didn't have any of the ingredients ready. So that's pretty cool. If we get to the point, so popping that in there, now this thing uses 100 RF a tick, which is apparently better. So that's cool. You're just filling up your internal capacitor. How's this thing doing? Like, are we going to hit a point where we're struggling to power things? You know what I'd love to see? How much RF a tick my refined storage system's using. 181. That ain't terrible. That's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. I will take it. All right, so what do you guys think? There's a lot of automation now going on, and I'm very pleased about that. Everything's running beautifully. This thing's cruising. Currently, it's not accepting energy, and you can tell that because these things aren't running. But yeah, I'm pleased. At some point, I may throw a few more oil generators in here. We'll see. But for now, we're cool. This thing is backlogged on canola. Nice. So you can see all the canola oil being produced. This is backlogged on oil, for the most part. And every now and then, it you know, trickles a little bit more oil into Empowered and whatnot. But this stuff's backstuffed. That's backstuffed. We're in good shape. Like I can't complain. All right, let's come back in a minute. All right, so what I'm going to do is wrap up the episode here, and we're going to come back next time. Now that we have a really good infrastructure of power, and our base is running smoothly, refined storage is going well, so we've got item storage, we've got ore processing, which is probably done. A few things going on. Gold powder. Wow, man, we are still processing the ores that we picked up earlier. It's been like 20 minutes. But it cleared out all the backlog of my stuff. At some point, I could throw maybe double capacitors in here if this was starting to become a problem. But frankly, ore processing doesn't need to be accelerated for any particular reason. There's just, why? Like, why would you bother? Our ender pearl situation is doing great. We've got 6 stacks. We've got tons of canola and seeds. And the seeds can be crafted from the canola. So we've got almost 10,000 canola, which is crazy. Yeah, we're in good shape. So next episode, we'll work more. Maybe it's time to start a little bit more magic, or maybe another magic mod, we shall see. I might also want to look into resource gathering, because one of the things that I'm a little bit shy on at the moment is resources. Like, I'm not bad. I've got 141 iron, right? But if you think about it, that's barely more than 2 stacks of iron, okay? So I could really use some more ore generation, right? And get stuff going. So we will see. But for now, it's Direwolf20 signing off point. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Should probably upgrade this capacitor at some point. Maybe I'll get this guy into a 25 millioner. That would be kind of cool. And maybe even upgrade these lasers at some point, because these are still tier 1 energy lasers. And we're starting to get to the point where we're going to need more power. Anyway, like I said, wrapping up point, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.